So I'm here with Diarmuid, the king of stats, and we're at Barbury at the moment. So Diarmuid, talk us through the form for the Event Riding Masters series.
Well, I mean, we're coming to, I think, a really exciting, historic afternoon at Barbury. Of all the events in the series so far, this is going to be the one. This afternoon is going to be the toughest cross country. So we saw at Chatsworth, very hard to make the time. Barbury is the next hardest to make the time, but also the lowest amount of jumping clears. So here we've got about 63% jump clear at Barbury. We've got 32 riders lining up, so we're expecting about 12 of them to run into jumping faults. When we go to the very top of the leaderboard, we've got Nereo there. Nereo is the horse that's been here the most of any horse in the field. Andrew, of course, has won 4 on the bounce. For me, it's going to be 5. Probably Eleanore Kelly. It has fallen here before with Andrew. It's back now with Ollie. It's probably one horse that looks like it could catch him, but for me, this afternoon's going to be about Nereo. It's going to be a fairy tale comeback for Nicholson. To think at the start of 2016 he is coming back very gently from that fall at Gackham. He went and won the CCI 3-star at Bramham. He had 2 in the top 7 at Lamulin. It's a real fairy tale story, and I think if he can make it 5 out of 5 at Barbury, it's real history making.
It would be fantastic, and we were talking to him earlier, and he said he does ride in a slightly different fashion. He doesn't go for the speed in quite the same way. So, you know, if it all goes to pot, I mean, who are the other top 5 finishers, do you think, that might be in the reckoning?
Well, Ollie and Kilnabriden won't be too far behind him. If we look at what's in the top 5 at the moment, we've got Marcio George. From what I hear, he's going for it. He's been told that he has to have a run. I personally, when I saw him there, I know that it's the Olympic horse. I'd be surprised if he's put through his paces on this ground. It's going to be up and down terrain. Everyone's talked about the twisty course. It's a horse that has time penalties. Hedvig's withdrawn. That's another horse that has had time penalties. So we're moving towards possibly looking at a horse like Santiago Bay, Gemma Tattersall, obviously an informed rider. It's an up-and-coming horse, a very good show jumper, owned by Caroline Telge. I think that's a horse that did pick up time penalties at Chatsworth, but that was its very first CIC 3-star, its very first time stepping up. It went to Bramham. It was just over the time as far as I remember at Bramham, but it's going to be definitely one to watch this afternoon on this terrain.
Okay, and beyond the Event Riding Masters series and Barbury, what about the Olympics? I mean, any surprises in the squad selection so far from your stats?
Well, I think squad selection is always a very sensitive area. I think on every team, I know we saw it with Ireland very closely. We've seen it reported in the media over here. There's always going to be controversy around who goes, and particularly around who stays. So I think there was a lot on Tina. Was it the right call? We were looking at the numbers. We saw it. There's 4 excellent riders going forward. We've got 3 debutants, but all of them have proven form. We've got Pippa coming in behind. I think they've picked a great team, picked a really strong team. Over on our side of the water, I don't think we're going to be competing at the medal level at the moment. Certainly not in the numbers, but we all know once you get to those big competitions, anything can happen. We'll certainly be cheering on Ireland. Will there be surprises? It's very hard to bet against the Germans. You can always look for an area that you could possibly find one. So, you know, we have seen some changes in tactics. I mean, we saw when the Germans run, they always cross country. They run to win. Late in this year, we saw a voluntary retirement, Michael Young on course. Now that was at Wiesbaden. The plan was then to put him on the hills to do a bit of training. We saw the same with Ingrid. Ingrid picked up 20 on Hillbot. Can we begin to see little chinks in it? Are we seeing a change in mentality? We're picking at straws. They're a really, really strong team. Looking at the numbers, you could see a finishing score of sub 100. You could be looking at 3 low 30s dressages and double clears. If the numbers run to form, they're going to be very hard to beat. But why not?
EquiRatings. I mean, going forwards, where else are we going to see you this year?
Well, all roads at the moment are leading to Rio, so there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes to make sure that we've got that covered across TV and print media. The safety system is continuing to develop, so hopefully we're moving across continents again with that. It's working very successfully in Ireland. So the predictive analysis we use around cross-country safety is certainly the area of our work that we believe is probably the most exciting. certainly being out and about, working at events like this and working in the media, we love it because of the insight that it can bring to the fans. But the difference that we can make to the sport in that cross-country safety area is one that we feel strongly about, and that's probably the area that we're concentrating most closely on. We've developed a number of partnerships with universities. We've also brought in a number of new team members. So we've got Gemma Broad here with us today, who's over from New Zealand. We've also brought in some new software developers. So we're working a lot on making sure that the offering we can bring to national federations in terms of that safety product is as strong as it can be. So that's really where all the focus is at the moment.
And is that from grassroots level right the way up?
Exactly, yeah. That's starting at national level. We in Ireland, we're looking at incorporating it into possibly international competitions as well. But it's it starts at 80s and 90s. When you're seeing that, you begin to see very definite trends in a horse's form lines. So the one thing that we always try to look at is that once those MEOs are in place, once the form drops off, it doesn't always reflect in the fact that the qualification is already in place. So we see very definite trends between form, falls, rider falls, and then horse falls, and that's really what we want to cut out. So bringing that level of insight and information to the decision makers in the sport is what we want to achieve.
Fantastic.